earth was this thing even running? It's just right full. This is my neighbor's old Polaris, and the story is he always keeps premium in it, like runs that year round. You see here his gas cap has no plastic cover on it. They always cover their sleds with a tarp, but in this case the tarp kind of got rotten over the summer and she ended up ingesting a lot of water, as you can tell. So that's really unfortunate, and man, the stale gas smell coming from this is just unreal. I literally seen them drive this thing last winter and it ran perfect, so I don't know, I guess just all that water getting in there just destroyed that gas. So we didn't even try to start it. We're gonna go ahead and pump everything out of that tank, and unfortunately even the carburetor's kind of got nasty, unless he had some crappy gas or something, because like even the needles here, you can see they just got gonk on them, man. The throttle, I thought the throttle was seized, but it turns out they were just stuck in there from all the tarry old fuel. So yeah, we're gonna have to probably definitely do a carb clean. First I'll start pumping out that tank, I'll pull the airbox off and see about getting these carburetors off. At least the boots look healthy enough. Alright, well old Clacky's gonna do her job here. Actually that gas doesn't look that bad, does it? There we go, I guess I didn't have the hose all the way into the gas. Now she's pumping good. Starting to look a little dark, but again, nothing terrible. Definitely doesn't look like it smells, that's for sure. Alright, well she's all drained out. The pickup line down there is like rock hard, but there's no filter on it to be plugged up, and it is laying right down on the bottom of the tank. So you know what, I think I'm going to treat that as one of those if it ain't broke don't fix it type of situations. I know some of you out there are probably going to ream me out for not changing that pickup line, but you know what, I'll let that be his decision. Once we get it running, I'll tell him all about how the pickup line is. And actually the carbs don't look terrible down there, do they? But the plungers here are all grimy. Do you kind of see that, this line here? It's like not sticky here and then it's really sticky right here. I don't know, you can't really see it on the camera, but it's like smearing when I rub my finger on it. These needle jets are sticky and kind of yellow. I think just to be safe, I am going to pull the carbs off. Unfortunately, all the fuel lines feeding the carbs are also rock hard. Somebody used the cheap stuff on this one. I wonder how the oil lines are. Oil lines are rock hard too. But again, we'll let that be his decision. We'll just get it running first. And although he isn't getting a choice on the fuel lines that I'm going to have to mess with, basically both of the fuel lines that feed the carburetors are going to get changed. And this little fuel line right here from the filter to the pump is going to get changed because it's also rock hard. Ironically, this line right here that goes to the tank from the fuel switch here is nice and soft still. So I mean, that one's probably fine. And looks like this one was changed. It'll be fine. I am going to take that fuel filter out and give her a good cleaning. Make sure it's in good shape. I guess I don't know if I finished rambling on about what I was rambling on about, but the bottom of the tank is kind of nasty looking, as you can see. That stuff's all hard down there. I could take the tank off and try to rinse it out as best I could, but I think in this case we'll just let the fuel filter do its job. And my goal here is to just do what I need to do and not present him a jaw-dropping bill type of thing. He normally works on his own stuff. He just kind of wanted me to get it running for him for now while he's out of commission so his family can ride it. Oh, and look at that, got a little bee nest starting here. Looks like they gave up on that home pretty quick. Yeah, this throttle plunger was also glued in. You can see that little bit of orange gunk at the bottom here. Man, that's weird. Why did premium gas go so bad like that? One of life's mysteries, I guess. Well, I just pulled the under hood filter off here, and the underside of it here was falling apart. It looks like this is a homebrew fix here. Some Scotch-Brite pad just glued onto the top. And you can see the original underside of that air filter was just falling off and sucking into the engine. Not good. Oh well, how much damage can foam do, I guess? About the best case scenario we can look at for this situation. Just carefully pull this stuff out of here. This foam here isn't falling apart, so that's good. Yeah, look at that, There's just nothing left of that foam. I've never seen one rot that bad. Well, found the smoking gun. Presented itself as soon as the airbox came out. Right there. The line going to the fuel tank pickup is broken right off. Ironically, remember just a few minutes ago I was saying this is the softest, healthiest line on the sled? I guess I was wrong. It is still nice and flexible. I wonder why that broke. It's just rotten, I guess. That's okay. Tygon to the rescue. That was probably our problem right there. But just given that those throttle plungers were so stuck in there from old gunky stale fuel, I'm still going to take the carburetors off. Plus we're right here. I mean, we're basically there, so we might as well give her some new fuel line and she'll be running like $1,000,000. Check out how rock stiff these fuel lines are. they just fall apart. Okay, what is our idle mixture screw setting on this pig? What, not even half a turn? Or is it just that gunked up? I think it's just that gunked up in there. So half, there we go. One, half. It's looking like just a little over 1.5 turns. Alrighty, I guess I better give an update here. I've got both the carbs taken apart here. The jet sizes are the same between the two carburetors, but I noticed the idles are set differently on each one, so I'm not going to touch any of that. You know, for all I know, this thing was adjusted with a vacuum gauge and done professionally, and maybe that's just the settings that it needs to be equal. So I am still going to make sure the carbs are kept on their appropriate sides. I got the jets in the house soaking in a little carb cleaner bath. It's our good old death carb cleaner here. Actually, these carburetors were surprisingly clean. I just noticed there was like this film of sticky stuff all over everything. Wasn't any gunk in any of the jets. They were, you could see through them easily. But it just had that layer of stuff on it, so I just figured, you know, since it's not my sled and I just want it to run for them for sure, I'd just clean the jets. I was already, you know, taking the bowls off to inspect things anyways. Here are the bowls. I filled them up with some gas here, no leaks, everything seems to be good. Alright, big time update. Just got this fuel filter out here. Unfortunately, some of it already fell out, but instantly a bunch of powder fell out of it. Holy! How on earth was this thing even running? It's just right full. Holy smokers. She just packed right full in there. Piles of it in there. Little chunkers. Break up. It's like a bunch of sand, man. That's so weird. Ah. That's probably the dirtiest fuel filter I've ever seen in a sled. There's our flow arrow. Make sure we don't get that backwards or we'll suck more right through the carbs. Dump out all 10 gallons of sand out of this filter and we'll blow it out and flush it out and see if we can make it work again, I guess. I'm going to use a little bit of this old gas here. Just give this fuel filter here the good old backwards flush. And my fuel pump here has a fuel filter on the inlet, so I know I'm not going to suck any crap out of there and just put it into the clean side of the sled filter here. There, brand new. There we go. Nice, pretty, fresh new Tygon. Rounded up some clamps for that fuel pump. Altogether, we're only going to be missing one clamp now. If anybody knows these old Polaris fuel filters, those hoses fit pretty darn tight on them. She'll be fine for now anyways. I didn't change this piece of line though, because it's still like perfect brand new flexible. Anyways, I've got these things rinsed and blown out. They should be good and clean now. I'm going to go get the jets at the house and reassemble the carburetors. Made good progress tonight. Carbs are all back together. Everything's all clean. I do notice here that both the float levels are set just a little bit high. You know, the float arms aren't parallel with the carb body right here. I'm just going to leave that alone. If that's where the guy that my neighbor bought this sled from had them set at, then you know what, we'll just leave them right there. I don't see any drips on the float bowls here, so I think they should be okay. The levels have dropped, but I'm sure that's just evaporation. I noticed it got a little cloudy and I can see little bubbles here and there, so in both bowls here, so there must have been some moisture hanging around there somewhere. I've already inspected the oil lines here. The line coming from the tank is in very healthy shape. It's nice and flexible. Although the oil lines that go from the pump to the engine are very stiff. So I'm definitely going to recommend to him that he change those sometime in the near future. I'm sure they'll be fine for a while. Actually, those same lines are all hardened on my sleds too. I need to change them. The carb boots here seem to be in healthy shape. There's no cracks. They're still flexible. So I'd say those are okay. I forgot I need to also wipe these down a bit here. They still got their residue on them there. Alright, our carbs are just a touch out of balance. I think I'm going to tweak them a little bit. You see how the one on the right's going up before the one on the left? I'm going to go ahead and tighten this one up just a little bit. Get them coming up at the exact same time. Unfortunately, these throttle cables are fairly messed up where they go into the carburetor here, so they're kind of tough to get perfect. But you can see how much I had to raise this adjustment up. If you look at the space between the lock nut and the top of the carburetor there. But I think she's about as good as she'll ever get now. Alright, well finally, I don't know why, but that airbox is really tough to get in there. I wanted to check the chain case oil level on this thing, but I'll be perfectly honest with you, I don't really know how. You know, my Polarises have a dipstick. I'm assuming that you maybe take out a bolt on the side and if it runs out it's full, but he didn't ask me to address any of that, so I guess I'm just not going to touch it. I'll bring it up to him and let him know that I never checked that. I'm going to go ahead and just clean up these clutches a little bit here. Well, we're not out of the water just yet. Yesterday, right after I shut the camera off, I popped the fuel lines off again and put them in bottles here. Because I wanted to, you know, flush a little bit of gas through the fuel system. Just to make sure there wasn't any more gunk maybe in the fuel pump, you know, to go into the carbs and clog them up. So after like 20 pulls, fuel pump still didn't prime. The rope about halfway threaded out on me and was right close to snapping, so I'm willing to bet here today it's going to just yank right off. Holy, it actually didn't. Look at that. That's all we got left of our pull rope there. Oh, this is just like a one-piece muffler, isn't it? I just noticed that right now. I don't think I'll even have to touch the muffler for this recoil though. Well, I ended up taking the muffler off anyways. Now that we're in here, of course I can't get these screws out for the CDI or whatever, so I guess we're just doing the pull rope right under the hood here. But anyways, here's our belt. It actually doesn't look like it was slipping. I'm not seeing any glazed action here. But man, this belt is loose. Look at that. I know these things aren't supposed to be tight, but I mean, I think it's supposed to be a bit tighter than that. It ain't slipping like at all though. And by the looks of it, our adjuster here is already cranked all the way, so I'm probably just not going to touch that belt at all. I'll just tell him that he may want to get one size smaller of a belt in the future, and then he can get some adjustment back. I'm sure it'll be fine for now though. Although these pulleys are like super worn out. You can see this is hardly even a V anymore, it's just kind of worn flat. And then you can see that ridge down there on both sides. Same with the water pump pulley itself, it's also super worn. Honestly, just putting new pulleys alone might get some of the adjustment back. Let's deal with this pull start. And if you watched the last video I made of the pull start recoil on my triple, I was talking about how I thought there should be a spring here to hold this dog down in place. Well, I was right. There's a spring that was supposed to be there. Alrighty, gave this recoil thing here a good bath, courtesy of the old stale gas that came out of the tank. Ready for some new rope. Well, got our nice shiny new pull rope on there. We pull her all the way to the just behind the seat. Got more than enough rope now. This darn fuel pump, I just can't get it to prime. I took the fuel pump inlet line off of the filter here and I sucked on the filter and it immediately and easily pulled up nice straight fuel, no air bubbles or nothing. So I know the pickup isn't the problem. That pulse line for the fuel pump was in really good shape, so I don't think it's that. If I had to guess, there's probably just the same gunk that was in the carburetors and stuff in that pump and it's just blocking up the valves. I'm gonna pull the airbox back off again and just squirt some fuel right down the carbs and fire it up. Maybe all she needs is to be actually ran. Maybe that'll get that fuel pump to start working again. Who knows? Well, I apologize, I got a little excited. Went ahead and squirted some fuel right into the carbs there. She fired right up and immediately started gushing gas out. Just two quick little like 3-second runs and it filled this bottle just about right full. So fuel pump is definitely pumping now. So I went ahead and hooked up the fuel lines. We're going to give her one more quick prime and head for sales. Let's see what happens. This is pre-mixed gas, by the way. Alright, what happens? Alright, well I'm going to put the airbox on and go for a quick little test spin. Alright, maiden voyage. Forgot about you guys. It's been like 15 minutes. I'll tweak with idle mixture screws a little bit. But I honestly think the idle's just set too high. But since I don't have a vacuum gauge set up, I'm not going to play with that. Alright, what is our idle mixture screw setting on this baby? I need a better screwdriver. Let's put the camera back to Timbuktu to get everything in a shot.